Welcome children to our next class. Today we'll be doing some problem sums on HCF. Okay. Now here this is 3.7. Now the questions children on HCF and LCM you have to read and try to understand what exactly they want. Now here Renu purchases 2 bags of fertilizer of weight 75 kg and 69 kg. So 2 bags of fertilizer are there of different weights. Now you have to find the maximum value of weight which can measure the weight of the fertilizer exact number of times. So what do you understand by this? You have to find the maximum value of weight, that means the maximum capacity of a container which will measure the weight of the fertilizer exact number of times. That means instead of, just for your understanding, I've taken, instead of 75, I've taken a 4 kg fertilizer bag. And instead of 69, I've taken a 6 kg fertilizer bag. Now the question remains the same. You have to find the maximum value of weight. That means the maximum capacity of a container which will measure weight here, maximum value of weight. Weight means here a container, the maximum capacity, so that it will measure the weight of the fertilizer exact number of times. That means it will measure this also exact number of times, this also exact number of times. That means what? What do you mean by exact number of times? Now suppose if I take a 1 kg weight, it will measure 4 times and there will be no remaining fertilizer left. Isn't it? No fertilizer will be left in the bag. So it is measuring exact number of times. If I take a 1 kg capacity container here, it will be measuring 6 times and there will be no fertilizer left in the bag. So it is measuring exact number of times. So that 1 kg is measuring this also exact number of times, 6 kg fertilizer also exact number of times. Now suppose I take a 2 kg, that also will be the same. It will measure 2 times, 2 kg, twice. There will be no fertilizer left. So it is measuring exact number of times. If I take a 2 kg container, this also will measure exact number of times. That means 3 times. It will measure 3 times. Now if I take a 3 kg container, it will measure this 2 times, but this will not measure. It will measure 1 time and then 1 kg will be left. So it is not measuring exact number of times. So I hope the question is clear to you what exactly they want. So what are you finding out here? If you observe 1 kg is a factor of this both, 2 kg is also a factor of this both. So they are asking you to find the factor. Now for only 4 kg you find the factor 1, 2 and 4. For 6 kg exact number of times what will measure? 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg, 6 kg. Isn't it? 6 kg will measure once. Now they are asking you which capacity will measure both exact number of times. That means what? You have to find a common factor. So 1 kg will also measure, 2 kg will also measure. But now here this word maximum is important. Maximum means the greatest capacity you want. And how can you find the greatest capacity? By finding the greatest common divisor or highest common factor. HCF or GCD is the same thing. So they want you to find the highest common factor. So that common factor, highest common factor will divide this also exact number of times, this also exact number of times. So in this case 2 is the HCF and you see 2 measures this exact number of times, 2 also measures this exact number of times. So I hope you understand. So now for these 2 bags, this is just for visualization. So that you can think, like you have to find out capacities, various capacity containers. Okay, now if you take 1 kg container, it will measure how many times? 69 times. If you take 1 kg container here, it will measure 75 times. Then if you take 2 kg, it will not measure exact number of times. 3 kg will measure exact number of times. 3 2s are 6, 2 3s are 9. Isn't it? So 23 times it will measure. Then this also, it will measure exact number of times because 3 is a factor of 75. isn't it? So 3 will measure, if you take a 3 kg container, it will measure this also exact number of times, this also exact number of times. There will be no fertilizer left. But here they want the maximum capacity, maximum weight. So what do? We find the HCF. Now many of you were asking how to find the HCF of this. See, by division method. 69 and 75, I have to find the HCF. So what do? Divide. This is the divisor, dividend. 69 ones are 69, 6 is the remainder. Now the first divisor becomes the dividend. So again I divide 6, 11, 66. Now you can divide in a normal procedure, 6 ones are 6, then 9 comes down, then 6 ones are 6, then subtract 3 is the remainder. So in both the cases you're getting 3 as the remainder. Now this divisor will become, first divisor is the second dividend, second divisor is the third dividend. 6 will come here. There's nothing to do with the quotient here in this case, okay? So it is exactly divisible we want, the factor, the common factor. So it has to be divided. So this is a factor, isn't it? Now 3 2s are 6. These are also factors, but the common factors are these. Okay. So now 6, common factor will be this one. So 3 2s are 6. So 3 is a common factor of 69 and 75. In fact, it is the highest common factor. So how do you find out? You keep on dividing, but how you will divide? Quotient, here we have nothing to do with the quotient. You write 69 ones are 69 and then the remainder is there. So it is not a factor. 69 is not a factor. So again, we have to find the common factor where we don't get a remainder anymore. So this you bring down here 69, then divide by 6. You get 3 as a remainder. Now you take this as the dividend and divide. Now you don't have a remainder. So this is a factor. And this is the highest common factor of 69 and 75. Okay. So now we come to the next question. The length, breadth, the question is not very clear, but you can see from your textbook, the length, breadth and height of a room are given as 825 centimeter, 675 centimeter and 450 centimeter. So the length is given, breadth and height of a room. Where you're sitting and studying, you just imagine that room has a length, breadth and height, isn't it? So you think it that way. Now you have to find the longest tape which can measure the 3 dimensions of the room exactly. That means you have to take a measuring tape which will measure the length, breadth and the height exactly. Now suppose I take a 1 centimeter tape, this 1 centimeter, it will go 825 times. This is 675 and the height is 450 times. If I take a 2 centimeter tape, then 825 is even number. So till 824 I can measure, then 1 centimeter will remain. So 675 also will have to check. 675 will not go by 2. So here also they will remain. It is not measuring exactly. 450 can be is a factor of is a multiple of 2. So we will have it exactly. But then it should measure the 3 dimensions of the room exactly. So all the 3. That means you have to find the factor and a common factor. So if I take 3, in fact, if by divisibility rule, you add up 8 plus 2, 10 plus 5, 15, 6 plus 5, 11 plus 7, 18, 4 plus 5, 9 plus 0. So all these are divisible by 3. So 3 centimeter tape also will measure exact number of times. They are not equal. How many? Not all will not be equal, isn't it? Because 825, 675, they are not equal. So these divided by 3 will be different. This divided by 3 will be different. So when you take a 3 centimeter tape, you'll get a different answer, but it will measure exactly. Here also it will measure exactly, here also exactly. Now, but they want the longest step. So it must be a common factor also, and it must be the highest common factor also, because they want the longest step. So how do you find the highest common factor? By finding the HCF. So just write a statement that the required length of the tape will be the HCF of 675, 825 and 450. Now see, I found the HCF. First I've taken any two numbers, 675, 675 and 825. Then I divided it, I got the remainder 150. Now this is the divisor, and this first divisor will become the second dividend. Okay, then again you calculate it. All these you need practice, you need to multiply in your rough. Now 150 into 4 is 600, that you need to show in the rough. Then remainder is 75 when you subtract. Then again you have 150. The second divisor will become the third dividend. Then you divide it, 2 are 75 into 2 is 150. So finally you are getting the HCF of 675 and 825 is 75. And there's one more number left, the height 450. So now you find the HCF of 75 and 450. And it's exactly divisible. So 75 is a HCF. So if you observe that 75 will be the centimeter, will be the longest tape which will measure length, breadth and height equal number of times. Now if you want to practically see, you take the length, breadth, if not room, if you cannot take the height of your room, you take a small box or something like that. Take the length, breadth and height. Make it to round off to an exact number, no decimals. So suppose you have 15.5 centimeter, make it 15 centimeter or 20 centimeter. So round off and make it. And then you check and see if your sum is correct, whether you have understood it. Like that you can practically do. Okay. Now the sum, the last sum, which is HCF, where you have to find the HCF. Now you don't have to draw all these things. It is just, since you're doing for the first time, just to understand what they want. There are three tankers are there. These are the three tankers, okay? You know what tankers carry? Diesel. So one has 403 liter capacity, like 403 liter diesel is there. In another one, there's 434 liter. And the last one is 465 liter. Now find the maximum capacity of a container that can measure the diesel of the three containers exact number of times. So you have to find a container whose capacity will measure exactly. Now all of us know that 1 liter will of course measure exactly all the three. Now next, there may be more factors which will measure all the three containers or say tankers, whatever diesel is the exact number of times. But here, since we want the maximum capacity of that container, which will measure the diesel in the three tankers exact number of times so that nothing remains in the tanker. So we have to find the HCF of the three numbers. So I hope you'll do it. Okay. Complete the sum, write the statements, and the required maximum capacity of the container is the HCF of this, and this. And then you find the HCF. I hope everyone will write the question, do the solution completely. In your copies, don't delay the things. Till then, be safe. Bye-bye.